This is a Ribtec 1050 GT2. She's called Top Gun. Very, very rare boat from Ribtec, but we're going to show you the full walkthrough tour right here, right now. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I'm Jonathan Parker from Parkerham's Boat Sales, and we're here today in Hamble Point Marina at the dry stack to show you this fantastic Ribtec boat. It's a 2010 boat, but as you can see, it's a cabin rib. Very rare Ribtec model. There's only ever been a few built, and we want to show you this because it's such a versatile rib with twin engines as well, and sleeping accommodation as well as a heads. So we're going to show you a full walkthrough tour, but now starting from up in the bow. Now, if you come over here, you can see, if you pop the camera just down here, we can actually see there's actually a well here for the anchor. It's stainless steel anchor, and it's a windlass as well. So there's an electric motor, which is on a remote control. Very unusual, again, for a big rib to have an electric windlass. It's normally reserved for bigger boats, but it's actually got 50 meters of chain as well, which again is unusual. So really good holding. It's a 10.5 meter rib. You know, it's a big rib, and you would kind of expect to have some form of chain on here, but this is 50 meters of chain as opposed to normally about 30. This is later teak as well. There's also a really neat little seat here. There's obviously a part of the walkway as well, but you can actually sit here and actually take the world in up the front, pulling up the rivers, if you're brave enough, going a bit faster with someone else driving, of course. But you can really see the chunky tubes on here. They're all in good condition. And there is actually a water fill here. So this has a water tank in it as well. It actually has hot water as well as cold. And of course, you've got this fantastic cabin. What the beauty of this cabin is that you can actually walk around the cabin. So there's a lot of cabin ribs that you can't. There's actually a walkway either side, and obviously grab rails all the way along. This is really neat. Having the sun lounger on the front, again, it just gives you that extra bit of lounging around, which is really nice. As you know, I'm 6 foot tall, so you can kind of see the sort of size this is. Great for kids as well as if you just want to take in a bit of sun or get away from the rest of the family who'll be up the back having lunch. As we walk around, there's a opening hatch into the cabin there, but also there's a bigger one here for ventilation and light. And of course, you've got the side windows all the way along. This has got a slightly bigger screen than we'd normally fit on the Ribtecs. So as I say, it's a 2010 model. With this, you get the twin Mercury Verado 300 engines. In great shape, regularly serviced, so always serviced when required, even though it's not done the hours. So this is only done, I've got the ignitions up now, it's only done 482 hours, and for a 14-year-old boat, that's really, really low hours for the engines. And these Mercury engines perform impeccably. They are beautiful engines to use. Power steering as well, and this will make this boat very, very rapid indeed. It's a 50 knot plus boat, so very, very quick boat. You've got this huge radar arch, and it's got a radar on it as well. So not only do you have the really big Garmin screen, which we'll show you in a minute, but we've got this digital radar on the top as well, on this fantastically large radar arch. There's 2 flag positions, and of course we've got this big bench seat at the back. What I like about this bench seat is actually it's such a high back, so when you're sat down, you don't have to lean right back. Quite often the bench seats are quite low, but this actually has this double cushion, and of course it's really wide. Being a 10.5, it's a really wide beam rib as well, and it just gives you this very nice social area. So you can actually get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, I would guess, at push thrown here. You can get another 2 or 3 there, so it's 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you can also have people sat on the cushion. So you can have 12 people if you wanted to, sat around here, just enjoying having lunch and a few drinks. Especially at anchor, this would be a really nice place to be. There's storage under here as well. So if I lift that up, there's a huge storage area you can see in here. He has a container that he stores things in separately, but it's a really big bed. So you could fit life rafts down there as well as any toys or paddle boards, obviously rolled up, anything like that you'd want to do. It's a really nice space. There's a couple of lockers either side, as well as they've got the Fusion speakers all the way around. So we've got 2 here, there's 2 at the helm and a sub. So a really good Fusion system, and they're all LED lit as well. And you've also got the deck lights around, so you can have really nice mood lighting going into the evening. It also has underwater lights as well in the transom, which is a really nice feature because it gives such a nice bit of light, and it's a bit showy offy, which we kind of like with Ribs. It's really what you're doing a bit, isn't it? You're showing off with something like this because it's a fantastic size, great fun, awesome drive as well. But it's a serious Rib as well. It's actually got these 2 seats which are stand-up seats, and when you're going fast, it really keeps you in these bolsters really nice. But of course you may not want to always stand up, so they've actually got electric seats, so if you want to sit down you can. So now I can sit down now. Great grab, great handle positions for support, and you can see this sort of screen just gives you a nice bit of protection as well whilst you're going along. Again, all the cockpit's later teak as well, and it also has a shore power connection, so you can plug into shore power, because if you do want to stay on the Rib overnight, or you just want to keep all your batteries charged up, you can plug in, because that will operate your battery charger and the water heater as well to heat up the water. Let me drop this back down, and you can see the sub just in front of us here, which again is a really nice feature. And then when you come around to the helm position, you can kind of see the navigation suite now. So the dials are really nicely laid out. So I quite like this bezel where it's got the 3. Feels quite car-like, this. So you've got the speedo in the middle, and then obviously you've got the 2 rev counters, and you've got the digital displays which can show different aspects from the engine, from oil pressures to temperatures, voltages, whatever you want, as well as you can, on this side, you can have fuel, as well as you can sync the RPM, the trims can show up on here, and then fuel economy, things like that. You also have 2 trim gauges here, so you can see on analog gauges as well as there's a plug-in 12 volt there, but also that leads down to this GPS 5012 touchscreen. So it's a touchscreen GPS, so you can do lots of things with this, as well as go to the menu, chart setup. We can do lots of things like that. If we press this button, we can, it's got fish finder as well, of course. And if I go to home on here, you can see the array of different things we can have. The sonar's quite smart, so full screen sonar, that's quite cool. And of course you can get the radar up on here as well. If we just drop down to here, there's actually the Fusion unit. This is an NRX 200, which actually is supported by the main head unit, which is down below, which we'll show you in a minute. And then this leads down to the electronic controls for the Verado. So they're fly-by-wire, so they don't have mechanical cables, they're electronic. So you can sync the revs as well, and you can do 1 lever, which means when you are operating the boat, you can control both engines just on 1 lever. So you can basically get rid of that one completely, and you can just operate it on the one if you want to, just to make life easier. And then when you're manoeuvring, you can pop it back into control, because with the twin engines you do have better manoeuvrability, and on a big Rib like this you want that, because it enables you to park the boat a bit more confidently as well. Obviously your kill cord there, we've got a few switches, bilge pump, and the windlass can be controlled from here as well. So there's a windlass control here as well as up the front, which is nice. And of course we've got the VHF on here as well. It's a newer unit, the VHF, over the years. It's a 2010 boat, so it's now sort of 14 years old. So there's been some upgrades. There's still quite a lot of original equipment, but there's been a lot of upgrades over the years as well. Look at this. I like this stainless. I like the chunkiness of all of this. There's a little locker here to a bit of storage. Cup holders, of course, which are self-draining. But when you sit here, because obviously when you're going along, you don't want to jar yourself. And of course, there's a really nice headrest. And this is a nice position as well to sit whilst going along, because you can see into the wake. But it's so easy to get around this boat because of the walkways. But let me show you now into the cabin. It's a double open door, so you can shut it off. But then as we come down into the cabin, first thing we see is there is a galley area. Now it has a twin gas hob in here, so again when you're off grid. There's a storage cupboard under here. But let me just take the camera and I'll spin that around, and you can see the Fusion. It's a UD750, and of course with the Fusion systems you can Bluetooth to it, and you can control it from your phone as well because of that. So really nice, but also you've got the unit up there. The speaker lights actually have their own switch, so I can turn them on and off. This is for the VHF, so it's a loudspeaker for the VHF, and then of course you've got a few buttons for things like your cabin lights. As we turn around, you can see actually the bed. If I drop down, it's really, really long. There's lights, so there's overhead lights which you can see. If you see a flashing on the video, it's actually not flashing as I'm looking at it. It's to do with the videoing, so it does happen with LED lights sometimes. It's just in sync with it, but as I'm looking at it now, it's not flashing. There's more speakers down at the end, so you can have your music down here. But you can see there's a window above, so there's a window hatch above. But as I come back and look up, you can see the big one here as well, which is really nice. I'll just pass the camera back, because what I want to show you is there's a fridge here as well. So this is a drawer fridge. It's full of water, but there's a drawer fridge in here. Again, a nice feature. If I just put my shoes off, because I just want to show you the size of this. So like I said, I'm 6 foot, and this is me now up to the top, so you can kind of really appreciate the size of this. Very, very comfortably, two tall adults can quite happily sleep here. You can sleep either way round, so you can be this way, and of course if you're up this end, you actually have effectively seating around here as well. So for a rib, it's a really sort of fantastic cabin size, a really good feature. The other thing it has is heads. The heads themselves, it is an electric flush toilet. So it has an electric flush toilet, storage in here, and a hot and cold water sink, which doubles as a lot do with a shower attachment. Obviously it's fairly tight in here, but if I pass the camera back, I can, as a 6 foot man, just about stand up in here. And I could use the toilet. Also, obviously, it's a sit down as well. So it would be, it's a usable toilet. Let me put my shoes back on. This has effectively been owned by the current owner for many, many years. It was shared between him and a few other people originally, but he now has full ownership, which he's had for, I think, a decade now. And it's a beautiful example of a very rare boat from Ribtec. Let me just take a sit down. So this can be viewed here in Southampton, over in Hamble Point dry stack. It's always been dry stacked, so the hull is in beautiful condition as well. We like to show you these boats out on the water because you really get a feel for them. Great service history, all the records have been kept over the years. A good title as well. So please, if you want to come and see this rib, come and see us down at Hamble Point Marina where our office is, and we can show you this beautiful rib. Come and see us at parker-adams.co.uk for all the other boats we've got for sale, and watch all of our other walkthrough tours. And don't forget, we've also got Parker Adams Superstore if you want to do any upgrades or anything to electronics, which we do sell all the Fusion equipment that you've seen today, as well as the navigation equipment as well. So subscribe to our channel, and hopefully see you on the next video. See you again very soon. Thank you.